sell imported materials. As beautiful as the shop is. Buying foreign goods does not help our economy. Neither does it boost local production. And the good thing is Nigerian made products are high quality. And to make Nigeria great again. That is why I only sell made in Nigeria products. Because change begins with me. Change begins with me too. Change begins with me.
Welcome to the sectorial segment of the Profit Point Show. Now we want us to talk about a particular skill that has transcended generations, from the old generation to the middle generation to the new generation. Bead can never be overestimated because it goes with fashion, goes with culture, goes with a lot of ceremonies. People who want to do some things will just have to use one form of bead for their clothing. It could be their clothing, it could be their accessories, it could be anything. So bead goes with ceremonies, culture, tradition, and every other thing. So we want to learn about bead making on this segment and talk about why it is important to today's world. Our guest today is Fatima Osayi. She is a bead maker and also a broadcaster and journalist. You're welcome to the program.
Good day, everyone.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
We can conveniently call you an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Now, bead. Why do you go into beading, and why do you think bead is something that is so important to the society? Let me put it that way, or the cultural aspect of the society, that it must be sustained from generation to generation?
Naturally, I love bead. I love bead so much. I just have this love for bead. I don't know where that love is coming from. I love bead, not because of the way it glitters or because there are some definitely that doesn't glitter. So I love bead naturally, and that's why I'm into bead making. And now, you know, you would observe that bead is like this practice that sometimes it comes into the society and everybody uses bead. Before you know it, then it's out of town. You hardly find bead on anyone. You know, bead is something that cannot leave individual's life. As far as a man wears a ring, a woman uses earring, you know, it's a fashion. Bead is also an entertainment, just like music. I don't think anyone can do without music. So bead is something that we can't do without in our society. It's just a part of life in our society.
Okay.
And which is why I love beading. And you know, it goes with any religion. No religions, I think, speaks against bead making, because bead, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or a traditionalist, you can use bead anywhere. You can wear it into church, mosque, or anywhere. It goes with anything, and it doesn't peel, it doesn't fade off, you know, it doesn't expire, it doesn't, you know. Instead, it had values.
Okay, I love the way you are hyping this bead. Now let's talk about the craft itself now, and talk about some skills that you must have to become a professional, while they call you bead maker. So what are the skills that you must put into it? What are the process of you becoming a professional or a bead maker? What are the things that you must have? The communication skill, the marketing skill, is it needed when it comes to bead making?
Well, to be a bead maker, first of all, you have to love what you're doing. A lazy person can't be a bead maker. The bead will also teach you patience, like I used to put it, because bead making takes a lot of process. You know, from pinning your hand, you get injury a lot when you are making beads or making a particular dresses. And you can't afford to sleep or doze off when you're on bead making. So it teaches you how to be patient. You don't talk too much as a bead maker because you have to be focused. And because it teaches us patience, you naturally have to know how to communicate as a bead maker. Bead also communicates. Like I said, it's a form of entertainment. colors, styles, shapes, you know, all these things are part of communication. There are some places you can wear certain beads to. They will speak language to you that, you know, and you cannot respond. They feel like what's happening. So bead also communicates somehow. Colors communicate. So you're a bead maker, you need to understand colors. You need, and if you're a bead maker and you're just making the bead in your room, it can't take you anywhere. So you need to have this habit of selling your market, projecting yourself, you know, letting people know what you do and what you can do. And one thing a bead maker should always have is creativity. Anybody can go to the market and get a bead, buy shapes, colors, especially if you have the money. But then if you are not creative, it won't take you anywhere. But as a bead maker, if you are creative, you can get a product of 1,000 naira and turn it into a big thing.
Okay, talking about creativity, what really inspires being creative? A lot of people will say it is from the environment. Some will say I get it from my sleeve. Some will say someone just passed and the inspiration came to me. So in creativity, actually, how do bead makers like you get them?
Well, just like what you said, it's everything put in together. Yes. Like sometimes when I'm sleeping in the night and I suddenly wake up, I'll be on the dining table making beads, and my dad will say, what are you still doing? Why are you not asleep? I'll tell my dad, what is Bewani? You know, and he's like, what are you saying? Yeah. Bead making, creativity in bead making is also an inspiration. Sometimes you even dream of designs. Yeah, it can be like that. Anything can inform your creative mind. It could be a fish. It can be eaten, and it could be the fact you're using. Anything. It could be human teeth, a teeth, anything at all, and informs your creativity in bead making. It could be color, it could be sun, it could be nature, yeah. It could be natural something, maybe grass or, you know, food. Anything can inform your creativity.
So do we have different types of bead makers? Okay, let's analyze
we have
that.
Different kind of makers. We have bead makers, which are in accessories of necklace and bangle, earring, and the likes. We also have beaders, like what I'm wearing, you know, beaders to this on dresses. That's another form of bead making. We also have some bead makers who centers on shoe, purse, you know, and all of that. We have some who do crowns, traditional bead makers. You know, they do crowns, they do they beat on masquerade dresses, they create art that are very, very strange, that are traditional. So those are the kind of bead makers we have.
So what aspect are you focused on, specialized?
I'm almost focused on all the beads because I love it naturally.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying, I have a creative mind. I'm focused on the bead making, which is in accessories, purse, shoes, necklace, you know, and I'm also a beader. I made bead on dresses. I also create things.
That means you're a fashion designer.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Because you can't be a beader without knowing something about fashion and designing.
I was going to go there, you know. And the world is changing. That the era we are now, you can hardly see a fashion designer not being a bead maker or not having an idea of bead. So even some fashion designers are going to come in to learn bead making. So what stops me, who is a bead maker, from learning fashion design? All I need is perhaps a stylist or someone, you know, who can do it, because I have the creative mindset. I know what I want to do. So please cut this, do this, and give me this. So what stops me from doing that?
Okay. So learning this bead making, how long can it take? Considering that we have different forms of them, for a basic one, if you want to have the basic knowledge of bead making, how long can it take you to teach or someone to learn?
It could take 6 months, a year, 2 years.
Okay.
It depends. It depends on your creative mind, your passion for bead, and your readiness and availability. So because bead making has to do with time. Sometimes you see it's just bead making and how fast you are. So it depends on how you want it. But bead making is something you learn for a lifetime. Let me put that, because there's no end to it.
And it is it comes with trend.
Yeah, you know, it comes with trend, so you can't say I've learned enough.
It's fashion. It's going all the time.
Yes.
All right, now let's talk about the challenges that the newbies in bead making they face. or the mistakes, let me put it that way, that they do while they are trying to get themselves up there on the market? What do you think they do and they should stop doing when it comes to bead making?
Okay, bead makers experience some challenges, and one mistake bead makers do is not having enough knowledge of bead making before you venture into that business, and can actually make you run into debt. Yes, a bead maker can go into debt, and it's a serious thing. It's not, because bead now is the value bead has is almost it almost has the value gold has. Bead appreciates. It appreciates that the bead you get for 2,000 today, when you go to market tomorrow, it might be 5,000. Yes, that's fact. And when you want to make a particular dress, or you want to create a particular thing, it can take you. You can get 1,000 of a design to do that. You know, for instance, I create a cotton. I make cotton flower bases. You know, I creative things. So you can imagine what I need is not a pack of bead. I can use up to 1,000 packs of bead. So if I don't have enough knowledge and I get such from a customer and I said, oh, this is your, you know, this is what you're paying, this is your quotation, and a product of 3 million, perhaps I charge for 1 million. What do you think will happen?
Loss.
So these are the kind of challenges beaders and bead makers experience. Before you venture into bead making, you need to understand bead. And you know the funny thing again, identifying which bead is good for you. You have to identify that, because you'll be surprised that you have the same shade of bead but different quality. You can have up to 10 shades of the same shade of bead, then it's of different qualities.
So they are fake beads?
They are, yeah, they are fake. You can get a champagne gold bead, for instance, and before you know it turns to off-white. Yes, that's the challenge. I've beaded a dress before and I was like, what's this feeling? So, you know, bead can be very, very funny. They are fake beads too, and some breaks. Before you finish, you know, with whatever you're doing, you discover that half of it is wasted. So these are challenges bead makers need to identify before venturing into bead making.
So that means that while learning, aside learning how to make them or craft them, you must learn the business aspect of it, and also the quality must be identified to while you are learning. Now let's talk about the marketing aspect of it. You can't do all of these fancy things or beautiful things and keep them in your wardrobe, and expecting people to come into your own house to come and buy. So how do you market? Some are not keen. A lot of people are not keen in using beads. They see it as something that is not too in vogue.
Oh, come on. No, that's the wrong thing, because, oh, not in vogue, oh, no. You are wrong. You are absolutely wrong. This is not a lucrative business that is fast growing now in our society today that we can't just shy away from. It's all about your creativity, how you want to create your bead. So you can't say it's not fast growing. But then the marketing aspect of bead making is, you see, a bead has a spirit. When I started bead, I'll sit in my father's compound, I'll be making the bead, I'll just see someone walk on, are you doing this? They will naturally come. Just let them see it. So bead is visibility. Visibility is very important. You can't hide it. And social media, you know, now anybody who's an entrepreneur, you can't do without social media. So even if it's one design you can create, keep posting on social media. Definitely there will be a demand for it. Because, and again, it doesn't get spoiled, it doesn't peel off, so it can be longer. You can have a bead for 20, 30, 50 years. That's how long bead can take. Okay, now let's talk about the industry in the next 5 years. We have a few minutes, and I want you to touch on that. The industry in the 5 years, you said, I shouldn't say it's not in vogue, the other time. Yes. So the industry in the next 5 years, will it grow more than this? Do you expect a lot of young people to come into it? Because you want people younger than you actually to come, so that the sustainability of the industry can go so far. Yeah, definitely. In another 5 years, we will have a lot of people in fact, wanting to learn bead, to know more about bead, and also the cost of bead won't double. It will have been times 5 of what it is today. And at that time, bead will become a serious thing and like a big school, just like we have fashion industry now.
Okay, can bead making help in reducing unemployment?
Definitely, it can. Bead is something that if you learn bead and you find yourself in a place like India, or I'm talking about outside the country, it's something that is fast growing, that is very lucrative. If you do bead, you can survive in any part of the world. Uganda, Rwanda, anywhere, even in African countries, anywhere you can survive because it's a skill. It's a skill you do with your hand. So you can survive anywhere. If we have more youth engaging in bead making, I don't think we will have many of young children, getting pregnant, terminating pregnancy, and because they will have something to get busy with and they will take life seriously. Something that can also fetch them money also, because bead is not just fun, it's not just doing it for fun, for the entertainment part of it. It's also a business that can fetch you money. You can get a bead of 1,000 naira, as cheap as 1,000 naira, and use it to make a bead that you can sell for 10,000 naira. Look at that lucrative, exactly.
But it takes time before you can be known out there.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. It takes instant. Just sit there and make bead. You will see someone who come and you're creative. It's about your creativity.
Okay.
Bead is about creativity.
Okay. Before we allow you leave, what's your word of advice for young people, especially on skill? A lot of people will see skill, they want the white collar job, the job that will allow them, make them wear suits, be in an AC office.
They are wrong. They are wrong.
Okay.
I can remember when I want to learn bead, when I want to learn skill, my dad said, no, you have to go to school, he cut off my pocket money and all of that. I forced myself to learn this skill. And today, thanks to this skill, when broadcasting job wasn't forthcoming, bead making sustained me. And here I am today. I have properties to my name thanks to bead making. Look at that difference. So my advice to young people out there is if it's bead making or any other business, please take it very seriously and focus on it. Trust me, in no time you get there.
So the last one is the social media usage when it comes to advertising. The first speaker that spoke about people using it wrongly to advertise their businesses, and they keep chucking out of content every day, but they are not giving out the right content. So for bead maker, do you think they can make that kind of mistake, not giving the right thing that your customers, potential customers, want to see? So how do you advertise? How do you get people to buy what you have produced?
It's possible. As a bead maker, you don't just post pictures that are unclear. Then you need your customer base have to be strong. You need to know the right audience for your product. You don't go and post bead making in a football page or in a page where they will say, oh, what's this? So you need to follow like fashion designers, hair designers. You have to follow them on their page. When you have those set of people on your page, you can post whatever products you have, but then make it clear. Bead is all about beauty, fashion. You have to be creative about it. Perhaps you want to post, you can post with a flower, a glass of wine, all those. You have to be creative with your posting so that your clients will also get it right.
All right, thank you so much, Fatima Osaye, for coming on the program.
Thank you so
and
much.
Talking glowingly about bead and bead making and the skill attached to them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
And we want to thank our viewers too for staying through with the program, The Profit Point Show. Today has been an educative one from the first segment to the second segment. Now we want to leave, but before we allow you go, don't forget that OGTV is a open business place as well, and you can place your advert or sponsor any of our programs by calling this number 0803 396 0423. The number to call is